Hello and welcome. In today's video, we will be looking at the new Vcad BCF template for Power BI. With this new template, you will be able to load BCF files coming from any software and review them in Power BI using Vcad. One quick note, we will be looking at a template for BCF's version 2.1. Now, let's get started. For starters, I should talk about the supported file formats. So the template is available for Revit files and for IFC files. With these two types of files, you'll be able to load BCF information and review it in Power BI. Now, I'm going to show you both examples, and we're going to start with the IFC file. So I've simply downloaded the IFC template for my BCF file. I'm going to open it up and we're going to be loading the BCF file, which is actually coming from a third-party software called BIM Collab. But again, this will work with BCF files from any sort of software. Now, first thing we're presented with is the BCF path. So similarly to what we do with our Clash template, we're going to have to provide the template with the full path, file name, and extension for a BCF file. So if I pull that up from my notes, I have over here the full path starting in C, full name, and importantly, the extension .bcf. I can now click load, and the template will be doing two things. It'll load all the Vcad data for the model I've downloaded the template for, and also it will be unpacking that BCF file and loading all the topics defined in that file, as well as any images that have been created in the context of that BCF. So in a moment, I'll be able to review all that information directly in Power BI. Here we go. So the first window gives us a bit of an overview of the topics contained in our BCF file. I can, of course, as always, filter based on dates. I'll have different stages if these were defined in the original software. So we can see that many have blank, but some have been assigned to the first phase, the design phase. Also, I have some indicators showing me how many topics of a certain type are present. So how many issues, how many clashes, inquiries, requests. Again, these are all dynamically loaded in from the BCF file. I have the different statuses available, and finally the priority that was assigned to these BCFs. To these topics, I should say. Below, we can see the list, a detailed list of the actual topics that have been loaded from the file. We have some information, a little thumbnail with the image, the title, description, and the information of who it's been assigned to, the due date, and so on. And then if I hover over a topic, I can see a card in a dynamic tooltip showing me a bit more information of the topic itself, and importantly allowing me to view that image a little greater scale. So here I can see already I have all my topic information available, and I can review quickly the status of the project. If I want more information, we're going to go ahead and navigate to the second report tab, where I have a view that includes also the model. So here I have a bunch of different filters that I can apply. So I can choose to filter a specific title, or the same sort of objects we were looking at before, stage, type. So for example, I could see how many clashes there are, or how many inquiries, and so on. Also, this we didn't see in the previous page, but if labels were defined for the various topics, these again are dynamically loaded and available here in the report. So I can choose the specification label, and it'll show me the topics that have that sort of label, or a structural label, and we can see I have 3 topics that have that label. Next up, I can pick and choose either to view the topics directly in the model here all together. So I can sort of review the elements that are connected to different topics, and I have a marker highlighting the elements themselves, and we've loaded up a very simple tooltip that gives me some information about the element that I'm interacting with. I can also select a specific topic to review one at a time. So if I do that in my detail page, I'm now able in the very bottom to load the details for this topic, including both the descriptions and of course the label. And we can see, for example, on the same objects, there are multiple topics with different images, and I can switch between them. Also, I could navigate to this other section here in comments and review the various comments that have been created for this item. So I can see there are 3 revisions to this topic, and every time a new comment has been added, the author has always been me. And if I want to focus exclusively on this specific topic, I can click on this button. After having selected a row here, I can click on this button, Review Topic. It'll navigate to a new report page where everything is filtered for that specific topic. So I can see here a detailed card with the information from the topic. Here I have multiple images that have been defined at a topic level. So this has been done in the original software. And below instead I can see the various comments with the image for each comment, because at each revision I can add a new image for that specific topic. So this sort of gives me a bit of an overview of all the information that has been defined in this specific topic. And if I go back to the overview, I can get the bird's eye view of the situation in my project and how progress is advancing. Now here we are looking at the example with the IFC file. I mentioned we can also do this with Revit. So I'll show you a different example with Revit. And in this case, rather than a BCF file coming from BIM Collab, we're going to be getting some data from ACC, because this new template can be a very handy way to review issues directly from ACC. So, for example, if we navigate to my ACC environment, you can see that here I have a Revit model. This is the electrical model. And if I open it up, we can review the issues that have been defined. And here we have several different issues that have been created, each one with all their relevant information attached. A couple have had different statuses, so they've changed in time. And of course, they've been connected to the items. Now, if I want to review this information, or more importantly, if I want to share it with someone who doesn't have access to ACC, I can export all this information. If I come back here, I have my list. I can export the list as a BCF file. This will be sent to my email, and I can then load the BCF file directly in our template. So again, let's open up the template that I've downloaded for my electrical model, and we're going to provide it with that first BCF file path. So let me copy that from my notes and paste it in here. There we go. And again, it'll load in all the Vcad data for the model itself and all the BCF data contained in the BCF file. Now that everything has loaded in, we can review the information. And so already we can see we have different statuses available. So open, answered, and ready to inspect. I don't have any stages that have been defined, and they all are categorized as issues. Below here, we can see our different topics, and at a glance, we can see that the images correspond to the items that were being highlighted and selected when reviewing the data in ACC. And of course, also the actual contents are the same. So again, moving to the BCF model, I can review the various tests, or rather the various topics one at a time, or issues if we want to use the ACC nomenclature. Okay, and from here on, the procedure remains exactly the same as what we were looking at before, so we can drill down depending on the level of detail and focus that we want to achieve. So, this has been an overview of the BCF template for Vcad. As always, thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for updates and new videos coming in the future.